This is Dharma Drops with your host, Rebecca Warfield. This podcast is a little bit about yoga, a little bit about life, and a little bit about whatever. And just as a warning, this podcast is unscripted, so that means I might regret a few things that I say. But hey, maybe I'll say some pretty awesome stuff too. Remember, these are musings, not truths. Buckle up, giddy up, because here we go. But we can take out anything that we want.
Okay, so we're live.
Yeah,
okay.
Ish.
Ish.
Yeah.
Good. All right, I like ish.
Yeah. Nothing is actually live here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so edit as needed.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So you okay with starting with the?
Yeah.
I just put it in a better space because coming from a Saturday of coffee in bed and then trying to switch back into my healing mindset. Which works Monday through Friday.
I feel like coffee in bed is a healing mindset.
It is. You're absolutely right. It's a gift, nectar of the gods.
I don't know the chant, so you're going to have to take me through.
Okay, so it's the Blue Medicine Buddha chant, and I'll only do it 3 times, and it's really just to get my mind into what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
And if you want to join along, it's kind of complicated.
Okay.
Maybe just better to sit and listen for the first
Sure.
time. And then if you feel like joining in, because I'm only going to do it 3 times.
Okay.
And then we can do ohms.
I can ohm. I know
Yeah.
ohm. I know lots of chants, but I don't know any.
Yeah.
Would you say
It's the Blue Medicine Buddha.
Blue Medicine Buddha, okay.
Yeah. So there's several different versions of it. This one, Teyata Om Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratat Samukate Soha.
It doesn't sound too different than other chants that I know.
So you can just blah, 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 la, 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 feel vibration, and it's fine if you want to do that. Or I could write it down for you and sing it along with me.
We're just going to roll with it. The best way it's oral tradition, right?
Okay. Yeah. So if you feel it, join me.
Okay.
So, and I'm not, Diva Pramal or one of these major beautiful goddess chanters.
Well, then this recording's over.
I love the vibration and I love the way it makes me feel.
Okay.
So we'll just do it 3 times if that's okay.
Sure.
And then just maybe, I don't know, we'll see 1, 2, 3 ohms. We'll see how many ohms come out.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm getting in that. First, I just like to connect and ground and center. Connect to heaven and earth and that beautiful space in between. Teyatam Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsat Samukate Soha. Teyatam Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsat Samukate Soha. Teyatam Bekanze Maha Bekanze Ratsat Samukate Soha.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just need to feel that connection. Now we're ready.
We're ready.
These beautiful
pink headphones.
All right.
So can you tell me, what does that chant mean?
Oh, maybe. My understanding of it is First of all, it's more about just feeling a vibration and connecting with a bigger picture. But the chant actually invokes the blue medicine Buddha. And I just read actually last night, because I'm really into this chant lately, is apparently souls that have been here, have done all their work, then they're done. They don't have to come back, but they can choose to reincarnate as embody the blue medicine Buddha. So it's not just one, it's kind of like many. So when you do that chant, it's almost like making a phone call up to the heavens and asking for the blue medicine Buddha, which happens to be a very particular for healing Buddha. There's mantras for abundance and oneness and all kinds of them. Right now, I'm just digging medicine Buddha. So it's not. It's about healing on all kinds of levels, the very physical level, and in clearing blocks to healing, and fully embracing an open central channel, so that we can channel this beautiful healing and divine light. And sometimes there's things in there you don't even know that need to be healed. So a lot of times when I'm doing a intention, it's not only the physical stuff, the emotional stuff that we're all aware of, and there's the hidden ones that we don't know either. So it's about embodying compassion and love and all those bigger, higher energies.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah. I'm a beginner. I love chanting and I love the vibrations, and so I don't know a whole lot about it. And there's scholars on this stuff that can fill your brain with all kinds of great information, but I just enjoy doing it, and the sound, and really envisioning the Buddha, blue Buddha particularly.
I like the vision of a blue Buddha. For those of you listening and wondering what the hell are these ladies talking about, this is Rebecca from Dharma Drops podcast, your host, and I'm here with my friend and healer and my acupuncturist, Pam Butz. How's it going?
It's going great.
So the blue Buddha, I have a great image of what a blue Buddha looks like in my head. It's the sweetest, cutest little image in my brain ever.
I love it. Work with it.
Yeah.
Invoke him daily, every second. Yeah.
So do you have a regular chanting practice?
I do. And I am not a morning bird. I've never been.
Oh, but you had coffee in bed this morning?
I did, and that's very meditative and wonderful. I do my practice at night, at the end of the day.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. So at the end of the day, I take a nice, beautiful, healing shower.
You're the one that taught me, and I've been passing along your wisdom about the importance of, like, shampooing your hair as, like, big and wild as you can.
Clean it all off.
My boyfriend was like, I like her. She encourages you to wash your hair, because I hate washing my hair. It's just so long. You
have
crazy.
Beautiful, thick, gorgeous hair.
Thank you.
I have very thin, fine hair, so it's 2 seconds in the shower.
This is not 2 seconds. Yeah. This is a whole process.
And then the conditioner and everything. And then the combing it out.
The conditioner, I go through conditioner 3 times the rate of shampoo. Yeah. Anyway.
It's expensive.
It's super expensive. I know. So in any case, you shower at night and do your rituals at night, yeah?
I do. So I get home and of course exercise is always part of some of this. So sometimes I'm home, exercise, then the shower. Either way, it's about me washing my day away. Okay, just clearing it all off so I can go into dream space very clean and clear. And then when I'm done and right before I go to bed, I sit and I set my intention as to what I'm working on. So for a while I was doing the abundance chant, which is a beautiful one that works amazing. And the whole idea is that I think you're supposed to do about 31 days every day to really invoke and magnetize the chant, really kind of connect in and dial in. And then things start to happen. And it's really funny because in the beginning, and I'll just talk about the abundance one because I've just recently switched to blue medicine Buddha. But I was chanting away. And after my chant, I give my gratitude for the day, my gratitude practice, and that stillness, that beautiful, like when you're done, you just sit in this gorgeous, beautiful, blissful, still space that is just open and magical and freeing and all of it.
Well, I like that you do it in the evenings. There's a lot of pressure to get up at like 4:30 in the morning
Heck no.
in the holistic wellness
Which I totally get it,
Me
and I
too.
totally logically understand it. I'm just real about it. That is not happening.
Me too. But also, something that I think we forget a lot in these practices is that nighttime and sleep is the time for digestion. It's like of your food and your thoughts and your day and your life. Like it's taking it all apart and figuring it out. Why wouldn't you want to enter that in a clean, clear state? Yes.
So good. Thank you. Thank you for justifying.
Girl, I'm with you.
Practice.
I'm with you. I like evening stuff, but I mean, it has to be done by 8 o'clock. So I'm too tired after that.
Yeah. And here's the thing: those little monsters will tell you you're too tired. You don't chant tonight. Blah,
That
blah,
bottle
blah.
of wine wants to be
It's calling.
in your belly.
It's calling, and I am very disciplined.
That's awesome.
And force myself through it, even when I don't want to. And I'll be honest, I've got the mala beads, and there's times when I'm opening my eyes like, how much freaking longer do I have to do
freaking
this?
108 times.
But when it's there, it's there. So I don't attach to the what is of every day. It changes.
Yeah.
It changes.
Good.
All the time.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
So we have no plan today to talk, which is extra exciting. These always end up being the best episodes. They're like, what are we doing? Who knows? Who cares?
How do I prepare?
You
I don't even know.
You just show up and hang out. That's all we do around here. But the reason we even know each other is because I've been coming to you for acupuncture.
Yes.
And so acupuncture has become an increasing interest in my life just because I've experienced so many benefits through you. Thank you. So I'm wondering if you could share with the Dharma Drops audience first how you even got to acupuncture.
Yeah, magic. So I was actually a school teacher.
You were?
I was.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. I have all these
full of lifetimes and interesting things.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. I taught in the inner city of Baltimore, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. Mm-hmm. And I always felt there was a piece of me missing. But at the same time, I was just going through the motions, as we do. And sometimes the universe will give you a big hit on the head. And when it happens and you hear it and you listen, then you just have to go. So I was sitting, and I'll never forget this, in the dining room. I used to live at this beautiful place near the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland, and out of nowhere, I don't even know where this came from. It was go to massage school in Boulder, Colorado.
It was a download.
It
was a download.
It was a download. Mm-hmm. Big time. I love that. And so I actually Googled massage school, Boulder, and there was one, and it was starting in about a month, and I was finishing. I taught year round. We did that to keep the kids off the street in the city, and I went in, and I said, I don't know why, but I'm leaving. I'm going to go to Boulder, and I drove out there, and my very first day was shiatsu class.
Oh.
Acupressure, Japanese acupressure.
That's interesting.
And I literally walked in that room. I was like, I found it. I found all of it. And so when that happened, I was fascinated. I couldn't get enough. And I knew from that moment I'd be an acupuncturist. But it just took me forever.
Because that's life.
That's how it goes with going to those programs.
So how long have you been an acupuncturist?
So I started school in 2009, and I finished in 2013, and we're at 2020.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So I feel so much like a beginner because it's a endless, fascinating world, and I love the fact that I had all this experience with the energy work and the massage to add to this piece of acupuncture, which was a really beautiful blend because I was very unafraid to touch bodies and to be very close and intimate.
Which is really
people.
intimidating. I remember in my yoga teacher training when we were learning hands-on assisting, I was terrified because my professional career was teaching English. The last thing you do is touch a student.
Right. Oh no,
you don't even get too close to their personal
exactly.
space. And so then suddenly to be asked to help them get in the right position or experience energetic alignment. I'm like, I have to touch them and they're sweating with smelly feet. Like what? It was terrifying.
It is terrifying, and it's terrifying because people have different responses to touch.
Yeah.
And so you just have to learn to kind of feel that and read that. So yeah, I totally agree. And so I was actually very blessed with that background, and then to go into acupuncture school, and then it's sticking needles in people, which is a whole new level of touch.
Yeah, because everyone always asks me, does it hurt? It doesn't feel amazing. Yeah. I'm not like, oh my God, do that again. Right, I want you to put me more needles in my body. But it doesn't I don't know, some of them do hurt.
I know. This is a tough one. People ask me that, and my only way to explain it, and people have heard me say this over and over again, if your energy and chi and blood and everything's flowing, it's like putting that needle through a curtain. It just kind of sews right in.
My chi not flowing.
No, most of us aren't, and mine doesn't flow either.
You told me many times, you have sick chi. I'm like, shit, still.
So then it's like trying to get it through a brick wall. But there's all kinds of things you can do. You can tap the skin, and you really call up the energy so it's a little more superficial, so I don't have to go as deep and things like that. But yeah, that's a tough question to answer because I'm probably the only one that would say, yeah, sometimes
it does hurt. The one in my feet, they don't feel good at all. It was not exciting. I was like, that shit burns. Some of them I don't feel, though. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. So, and it's never more than, a half a second of, if you've been bit by a bug, you're good.
Yeah. I've had worse, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, is the intention of acupressure and acupuncture the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Just one pressure and one poking with a needle?
So the difference in, they're both very effective. So absolutely, I send people a lot with points to press, and a lot of this is it's your intention and your mind. Okay, so you're getting your mind energy behind that, and then you're pressing right into a center that we know does certain things or activates certain things. So the beauty of the needle is you get that intention and that retention of the energy being held and called to and activated for a longer period of time. So the acupressure is great, and it will move things. Absolutely. So that's always an option for anybody that is a little bit like, it's just incredibly effective technique, and it's very, very powerful because we're dipping in, tapping to, and holding and calling into this beautiful energy system in your body. And so what happens is you're resting there with the needles in. I think they've calculated it. I'm not all into the science and numbers of this, but it's about 14 minutes that your chi will cycle through all the 12 major meridians. Okay, you have a whole set of other meridians and things that people don't really know too much about, but the big ones that we all talk about. And so I try and let people rest about 28 minutes to get those 2 full cycles. So every time that energy's cycling through and they goes near that needle, it's like, boom, message. It activates, it just keeps it activated a lot longer than, you could hold your thumb on a point for 28 minutes, but...
Yeah.
That's not this
It's a little daunting. Now, you did a little acupressure on me one time. I was like, oh, that really hurts.
Honestly, the thumbs sometimes hurt more than the needles.
I was like, stop. It hurts.
Plus, I have very strong chi. I really do. I have a very good practice of keeping myself healthy and strong. So, yeah, it can get intense with the hands.
So, a lot of the folks that listen to Dharma Drops are yogis. And, of course, these are parallel systems. But they might not be fully aware of what chi is. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about what, I think I have a sense of what it is. My understanding is it's very similar to what we call prana in yoga. Absolutely. But can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, this is a tough one because
prana's, I can never explain prana. Like, how do you talk about prana?
I know what we say, life force, right?
And I hate the word life force.
I know. It's like, what else? Energy. It's all, but it's what it is. It's this animating, beautiful, divine magic. I don't know how else to explain it. And it's funny, when I first started acupuncture school, they made us read a book, What is Chi? It was the very first book. Oh. And so I read the whole book, and the funny thing, they explain it like the steam in the mist and the clouds and the and then at the very end of the book, after you read all these explanations from Chinese people of what Qi is, the very last thing it says, so what is Qi?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like, it's this, so what I do tell people is it is. I do use the words energy. I do use the words life force. I use the words animating.
I like animating.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
I don't know how else to explain it because it's a very mystical thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I'm one of those people, I'm okay with the mystery. Some people, they they need to know. And I get that. It's just, it's not been something, every day I'm like, how can I better explain chi? I'm just kind of like, it is what it is. Just trust me.
One time it was taught to me, prana was taught to me as the pulse of all life, which I thought that was a really nice explanation. It's like the pulse, the undercurrent of life.
It is. Yeah. And the beauty of that is in looking at it that way too, when you say pulse, because like I flow to you, you flow to me, we flow to that plant there, we flow out. Right, there's no separation. Mm-hmm. So that I do like. Okay, I'm stealing it.
Steal it. I think Bill Mahoney, he's a professor. He's actually going to be recording on Dharma Drops podcast Monday. He's a world-renowned, really a philosophical yoga teacher. He teaches Bhakti and Tantra, and I'm pretty sure he'll be the first man on Dharma Drops podcast. Yeah,
look at you.
I know.
All right.
The Dharma Drops audience isn't going to know what to do when there's like this two boys. It's always like two women like chit-chatting. But I'm pretty sure it was in one of his workshops about Bhakti Yoga that he talked about it as a pulse. Sometimes he referred to it as the constant yes of life, which I thought was nice too.
That too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of just like the acceptance of life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and pulse works because of the flow of that. Yeah. And we can all kind of relate to our own pulse, too, and just feeling that. So, yeah, beautiful. All right.
We got it.
New one.
Done.
A new one.
We solved it. What is chi? It's pulse.
Chi is pulse.
Done. So then the aim of acupuncture then is to get the chi to flow, right, in, what's what I'm looking for? Effortlessly.
Effortlessly flow. So... We have all these fun little sayings in Chinese medicine, and one of them is stagnation is the cause of thousands of disease.
Okay? That's scary.
It is. And so think about that. That's just not stagnant energy in your body, which causes pain. It's also stagnant emotions, stagnant in your spiritual growth. All of this is when things are not flowing, okay, you get back up and build up. And then you start to get like a swamp, stagnant and festering. And so the whole idea when I'm working with people, it's very simple. It is flow, getting things moving again. Flow and of course building energy and or settling energy. It's really... I don't mean to simplify, but it is quite simple in that way of keep it moving, keep it calm, and yeah.
Because it seems more complex. We hear these things like meridians and all this stuff, and then we come, like I came to acupuncture for a number of things, but a cough was one of the main ones. One time you helped me with some hip pain.
Right.
So you think about it as this sort of like antidote, like I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, but what we're really working with is just the energy, right? And it seems like it's a medicine because it's called Chinese medicine, like, oh, here, let me fix this, but what we're really just doing is smoothing out that flow.
And opening your body to its own natural healing ability. I mean, that's really huge. So there's two actually things I might want to mention here. There's Chinese herbal medicine.
Yes.
Okay. And then there's the acupuncture piece. So the acupuncture piece, and they both work beautifully together. The acupuncture piece is very much about keeping things moving and flowing, and that tapping into that bigger, higher picture.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is really, really big in this medicine because when we are in that space and in that healing space of bigness. Okay, our energy's more open and we're able to receive more, it's able to move more, and so that is a part of it the herbal piece is more like tending the garden that you're living in right now.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So, for example, a cough. Okay, there's a dry cough, wet coughs, night coughs.
I got them all. You want to talk about cough? I got them all. Any time of day.
Okay, so as a practitioner, I have to look at that at many different levels. I look at it, of course, the lung energy in Chinese medicine. I also look at it on a and this is a little more my other background, kind of an energetic, spiritual perspective of, what's going on with the cough. And then, of course, this ties in with Chinese medicine with grief and things like that. Then there's what kind of cough is it? Is it a wet cough? Then we dry it. We have herbs that dry things. We have herbs that wet things. We have herbs that move things. So it's a little bit like tending a garden. So it's a beautiful symphony.
Yeah.
Can happen.
It reminds me a lot of the Aria Beta practice.
Oh gosh, and I'm actually starting to really get into this.
Aria Beta is really cool.
Yeah,
I could see you really get into Aria Beta because they really run parallel.
Oh, they do. And I just learned all about because fire in Chinese medicine is all about the heart energy, but we also have our digestive fire,
right,
which would be more along that line. And I'm just fascinated by it. So that's a whole new world I get to explore too.
Yeah, and the yoga practice, the heart space would be air, but air also helps kindle fire.
Totally.
Yeah. So I mean,
a little bit of breath. Whew.
Yeah. So it's not unrelated for sure.
No, they're so parallel. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because one time you told me something, I guess when we were working with my persistent cough, that I have a lot of damp in my body. And in Ayurveda, we would call that kapha. And kapha is anything water related and thick and heavy, like a wet cough.
Perfect.
I hate talking about my wet cough. It's like the worst visual ever.
Talk about a dry cough.
Yeah, a dry cough sounds a lot better than a wet cough. It's like the worst. Sorry, guys. Oh, I can't help it. I cough all the time. It's crazy. Okay, so in terms of Ayurveda, what are you doing these days? Have you just started your Ayurvedic study, or?
Well, I really give my sister a lot of credit for this. My sister, bless her heart, has never, I just said bless her heart.
You live in the South. Welcome.
Thank you.
The first time I started noticing this, southernness in me, because I'm from Western Maryland. And
I'm from Maryland.
Yeah, and I moved to Oregon, and I moved to here, and I was like, what is everyone saying? And now I've caught myself saying...
Have you blessed someone's heart?
I blessed hearts, and I've also said might could. Have you heard might could yet? Oh, you'll hear it now. It's when people say, we could, but they'll say, we might could go to the store. We might could have this for dinner.
And
when I first moved here, I was like, the fuck is that? Yeah. And now I catch myself saying might could all the time.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When might could get some acupuncture.
All right. Well, now I'm in tune to that. So
you're going to hear it now.
I'm going to hear it today 3 times.
You are going to hear
it.
At least. So your sister... We might could bless her heart.
We might could bless her heart, yes. So she, out of the blue, decided, and she's not into this kind of stuff. She's just kind of, doing her mom thing and working and everything else up in Maryland. And she decided to take a retreat, Himalayan Institute or something like that.
That's like a big step from not into this stuff to just hopping over to the Himalayan Institute. Yeah.
And I'm going to share her story. So she never meditated or anything. And they were doing the Agni. Agni, if I'm saying that right.
Agni. It's the fire.
Okay, yes. Yeah. The Agni practice. And so she had this whole weekend focused on the Agni. And
whoa, that's transformation.
She called me on the way home, and she's talking about her heart chakra opening. She's crying nonstop, and she's like, I've got anger stuck in my root chakra and my digestive fire. I said, give me those dittos or handouts. I said, send them. I want to read all about this stuff. So hopefully they're in the mail today. Yeah, it was just a fascinating way to look at it. I'm so open to learning all kinds of information because we never know what the right lock and key for the right person is going to be.
Absolutely. And I study all sorts of things depending on my moods. And right now, for example, I've been getting really into evolutionary astrology. I'm in the earliest days of understanding it.
I'm so what are the signs, the zodiac signs? That's it. That's where I am.
But
so I love this.
What I find is that all these systems of study and thought they're all leading us to the same place.
Exactly.
You know, and we talk about that all the time of like the monotheistic religions and stuff. Like the undercurrent of all the texts are the same. It's the same in this world too. It can be acupuncture, yoga, Ayurveda, astrology. It's taking us to the same place.
Absolutely. So we have this, they love to say things poetically in Chinese medicine. It's many paths up the mountain.
Yeah.
And I actually love, and it sounds like you're on the same thing where you just kind of meander through and you kind of tap in a little over here and grab a little bit of this and grab a little bit of that and make it your own.
I think that's the beauty of being alive in 2020 and having access to so much knowledge is that we get to look and like take things that work for us and make sense for us in our lives and for those we work with.
Right.
You know, how to reach for people like you and me who were working in healing, you know. And whereas maybe 100 years ago, we were just stuck in this little path that we didn't have exposure to.
Right. We are very blessed. You're absolutely right. I never really look at that. So thank you
You're
for
welcome.
Bringing me into that. Yes. Yeah. I love that. And you're absolutely right. I think the beauty of, and I was actually blessed too, because in my studies, one of the things they asked me in school, they said, well, we're not going to follow one tradition, because some people get, you know, one teacher, one master, and they learn their way, and that's great, and it works amazing. I feel very blessed that I've had all these different little pieces along the way. You're right, and to make them your own, and you never know. You just never know what's going to work.
That's how I feel about my yoga journey too, you know, because I know people who pick a teacher and they are devoted to that person, and that really works for them. And I think that they need that sort of trajectory in their lives. But for me, I'm just too interested in too much stuff to just be like, you're my forever. You're my forever teacher. You know what I mean? I have like all these things.
Yeah, because there's so much cool stuff out there and so much to learn. And it's like can't get enough of it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm all weirded out. Like my astrology is like on point with my life. It's freaking me out.
Yeah. I'll have to pick your brain about that.
I don't know anything, but I'll tell you what I know. I think I know two things right now. I didn't realize how complex astrology is, because we always talk about it in terms of like horoscopes, like, you're a Virgo, and that's the end of it.
And we've labeled you, and you're that. Yeah,
it's like there's degrees of where things are. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. It's too much for my brain.
Yeah, it's you really have to be a master of that and study that. And there is in the mastering of those things.
Oh yes,
complete value, absolutely,
for sure.
But yeah, I'm like I just like to take a peek. What's in here?
Well, especially if you're working with the public, right? Because people are coming to your acupuncture table that we're recording on right now. The mic is on it, that we're recording on with a lot of different things and experiences and backgrounds and beliefs.
Absolutely.
You know, one time you told me, I don't even remember what we were doing, but you were like, okay, just close your eyes and you're going up a mountain and you see a wise old Chinese man.
The little man with the flute.
Yeah. And that, for me, that works, because I'm open to all the... I'm just laughing. Oh, the little man with the flute.
That
guy. You know him really well.
He's on Zen Mountain.
I feel like we should have our own podcast show together.
I love it. I love it.
So for me, that works, though. Yeah. And I can see for other people being like, what the fuck are you talking about?
She's whack. Totally. Yeah. No, and it's funny. I just kind of feel what I feel. And if I get it and it comes through, I say it. If I don't, then I don't say it. But I love using visualizations, and I love... my treatments are more than just sticking needles in. Yeah, it's all about settling the body, really getting your mind involved in your own healing. Huge for me is empowering people in their healing and giving them tools and things to work with, because I don't respond very well to a hierarchy of, healer, patient. We're in this together. And I think that works in some ways to my advantage, in some ways to my disadvantage, because I am very personal with my own healing and what's going on in my own life, because I'm a human too. We're all in this together. And so I think some people, it's like, whoa, what's going on? But I am where I am, and I am who I am. And so big for me is to absolutely have everyone, we all have direct access to all of it. And sometimes we just need a little, helpers along the way to reawaken that. So that's really, really important for me, is really empowering people. And so giving them tools to, that they can use and take home. And
Yeah, and I think that's, for me, if I had to define a healer, that's what a healer does, right? Because I don't know, for someone to come to me and be like, I have everything you need to make you feel better, you run the other way. That is like, you're about to join a cult,
right? Exactly.
So like run the other way. But I did a meditation. I took an archetype workshop with a woman here in town named Kristen Nice. She was actually on the podcast a few months ago. She did a prenatal episode, and it's been the #1 downloaded episode across the world. It's great. Wow. Yeah. Well, there's pregnant women all over the place, that want to learn. But I couldn't even tell you what she did in the meditation. First of all, I do know a little bit of it. She was like, you're going down 7 spirals. And she was like, and imagine yourself going down the spiral staircase. But I can't, my brain's too active for that. So mine was like Super Mario style. It's like, do-do-do-do-do-do.
I love it.
And then like we went down the spiral, like slided as fast as we could.
Perfect.
But then when at the meditation, when we hit the bottom, she was like, and now you've met a sage. And the sage is going to ask you 3 questions. And of course, she asked the questions. And she was like, and you have to listen for the answer. It was really good. And because the answers were really clear and really empowering. Because it was like, oh yeah, there's no sage here talking to me. I know what I need to know.
Oh, hey, Becky.
Oh, hey, Danny.
How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Did I catch you meditating?
No, I was just about to say, oh my God, have you seen the new Dharma Drops 3 mala bracelet from Spiritual Junkies?
Oh my gosh, aren't they amazing?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Oh, amazing. Oh, Danny, you're good.
I know. I try. Did you hear about the new code for Dharma Drops listeners?
No, what is it?
15% off with code Dharma Drops.
So you're telling me if people go to spiritualjunkies.com and use the promo code Dharma Drops, DHARMADROPS, they can get 15% off their next purchase.
That's right.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So I have the Dharma Drops 3 and tons of other bracelets from the spiritualjunkies.com site, and I can't wait to get more. So that means if you go to spiritualjunkies.com, SPIRITUALJUNKIES, spell that without looking at it, .com, you can save 15% on a single purchase using the promo code Dharma Drops, DHARMADROPS. During this time of unforeseen life changes and social distancing, Longwave Yoga is delighted to bring online yoga classes directly to you. With a variety of practices from vinyasa to restorative yoga, you can now enjoy a class from the comfort of your own space. Every day is a good day to care for your body, mind, and spirit. To participate in online classes, please pre-register at longwaveyoga.com. You will receive a confirmation email with details about accessing your online yoga class. Longwave Yoga looks forward to practicing with you in the digital world and remaining connected. Again, to register, head over to longwaveyoga.com. That's LONGWAVEYOGA.com. longwaveyoga.com.
This is a really good point that she's made and sharing with everyone, because when you get information, sometimes we go and we doubt it and say, did I make that up?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we haven't made it up. It's our own divine wisdom, and we so need to get back into trusting that and really trusting that little wise person that lives inside of us all, and really listening. Mm-hmm. And you have to do the spiral staircases. You have to synchronize clocks, whatever it is, to get there and trust it. Huge on trusting it.
Yes. In fact, going back to astrology for a second, again, I don't really know much about this, so no one can quote me on any of this, but I was just reading that, like, the moon was in Pisces, which is sort of like our intuition, and that the sort of opposition of that is intellect. Oh. And so we get in this fight between what we know in our hearts and in our souls, and then what our intellect is telling us.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then throw a little ego in there. And
it's just like a recipe for a fucking disaster.
It's a war.
Yeah, it is a war. It is a war.
It is, but I would always go with intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind of have to weed, it's like, and going down the staircase, there it is, boom. You have to get out of that. And there's benefit to them all, I think so. But,
I mean, to me,
That's a great way
intellect
to
is
look at
always
it.
important, because I work with the mind a lot. I work at a university and stuff like that. But I have witnessed people's intellect at the academic level just strip away their ability to be intuitive, and I think a lot of us live in that space.
Yeah. I don't work around a bunch of intellects.
Don't do it. No offense, friends from UNCW, but just don't do it.
Maybe I need to.
Bless their hearts.
And they're bless their hearts. And there are very intellectual Chinese medicine scholars, and that's great. And we need them because they're doing great work. All kinds of things.
Yeah, and I think also validating a lot of this work too, because when I first started coming to acupuncture, I was looking stuff up, and there are all these major medical journals recommending acupuncture. So I think that's like the move in the right direction.
I know, and again, I'm one of those people. I've never needed those Western studies. I never needed that, but that is a very big time reality right now in America. I would say probably more so than anywhere else, where people they want the Western double-blind studies. And the funny thing is it's a medicine, but it's also an art.
Yeah.
And so that makes it very complicated because we're so individual. So to do these studies, I actually, to be totally honest, hate it. I don't think they belong anywhere near each other. It's too special, too unique. Everyone's too precious to do that. And so I'm not a big fan of them. However, if I'm working with someone that I feel like needs a good fact, because
there are people who need the good facts.
People that need a good fact. I'll bust out a fact here and there.
Let me get my little book of facts for you.
Did you know that in 2000 and what? Yeah. And that is it's just where people are, and that's okay. It's just a place I choose not to reside too much. And I think that intellectual side is great and serves some practitioners very, very well. And I'm just a little bit different on that. And it can get me into trouble because sometimes, like keeping up with pharmaceuticals, that is, when I talk about my weak spot, whoa, like you're taking what? And what's that for? Because, maybe they're prescribing it, but that's for something else or, what I remember it as. And so it's just a nightmare for me. So that's I could probably use a little more intellect there.
Or just record keeping.
I guess I could just Google it, right? Wow, what the heck?
So this might be a really big question, but what usually inspires someone to start acupuncture?
Oh, pain. Yeah. So that's actually, and it's, I hate to say God bless that we have some pain, but it gets people in the door. And then when they...
It's telling you something.
Oh, huge. It's a message. Anytime you have pain, that is a message of something is out of balance. And so I'm actually grateful for that because they come in for pain, but then, of course, you see on my wall the herbs, and then I have, some spiritual things too. And then it's a chance and an opportunity to talk about it. And some people, my elbow hurts, treat my elbow, and done. And that's fine. Yeah. And then some people, it's my elbow hurts, and my digestion's not the best, and I'm dealing with some grief or, whatever, and then we can go from there. So it's very all encompassing, but it is pain is what gets most people in the door. Pain and enough of it. So what has happened too, and I've realized this in practice. I'm always a last resort, kind of,
That's how I got to acupuncture. I was like...
It's like they've tried everything.
Nothing else has worked,
Yeah, and so that... I would have to say, given that, and given how successful and popular acupuncture is now becoming, that's actually a big attest to this medicine that's been around forever. And so it's, to me, that, bring on the pain, and let's talk about it, and let's heal it, and let's move it, and go from there. And then you can see what this medicine can really do. And one of the biggest things that I like to talk to people about, it's not about having a problem. It's about keeping a problem from happening and coming in and having those wellness visits. And people, it's like, I don't know why we're programmed not to have value in that. That is huge. Yeah. the self-care, your massages, your acupuncture, your herbal rebalance, those are your main rebalancers. I mean, we should all be doing our exercising and eating right, and the mental piece on that.
Sure.
Where's your mind? What are your thoughts like? That's how you stay healthy. And then when you get a little bit out of balance, you do get a little acupuncture, you get a little herb medicine. When you get really out of balance, then we have this beautiful Western medicine, which I don't like to poo-poo ever, because there's some great things coming out of Western
for sure.
medicine.
I'd be dead without it at some points in my life.
So we have the big guns. That's like the army coming in, like, wow, when things are really, really out of whack. But if we all took the time, on a daily basis with our daily practices and our daily things, and self-care, it's huge. Absolutely.
And I find when I do the wellness practices, which I have not, when you walked in today, I was like, I'm sorry, I've been a naughty acupuncture patient. I'm sorry.
I send the emoji, it's just a hand, and I call it an acupuncture spanking. It's like, I haven't seen you in a while.
That's hilarious. But when I find, though, that when I don't do my wellness practices, like lately, I've been in such business mode, like building Dharma Drops, like big things have been happening lately. I've been in this driving mode. But when I leave out the wellness piece, all the other parts start to fall away. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not as easy for me to exercise. It's not as easy as for me to make healthy meals. The wellness component seems to set the stage for that, for me. Just to, like, if I come to acupuncture, I feel more inspired to do those things.
To keep going.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there is value in building your business and building those things that get us away from that. But when you realize, okay, I need to get back to it, true confessions, I did not chant the last 2 nights.
Well, this is it. Your soul is doomed.
That's why I walked in here. I'm like, I need to get in a little more of a healing space. But I think it's just that awareness of, okay, I got a little off, and then I can get right back. And it's easy when you just go a little off. I call it the rails.
Yeah.
When you're a little off the rails, we can get you back very quickly. It's when you go way off the rails. And some people, they choose to live in that space of constant stress and focus on, money's a big one, money and attaining more of it, of this crazy.
I've never said anything about wanting more money on this show.
And I think then we lose sight, we lose big time sight of what's really, really important. And so the fact that you're even aware of it, that's awesome.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. And me too. I confess my 2 nights of non-practice.
Yeah, sometimes, because like the yogis often talk about, like, you have to have a daily practice, and I get really good about my daily practice for a while, and then I start to fall off the rails a little bit. Yeah. And sometimes there's a lot of guilt for me wrapped around that I think was instilled just from, like, I think the way the yoga community thinks about these things, like, if you're not doing your yoga every day, are you really a yogi?
Right.
But I came across a yoga class on Yoga Glow taught by Jason Crandall that I really like. And the description said, every yogi will fall out of their practice many times. Yeah. And that's just life.
It's life.
It's just life.
It's life. That's why, like, priests and things, they go on retreats.
Yeah.
And meditations, 10-day quiet minute, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's hard not to. I mean, we're bombarded with life stuff in our face. You get in your car and driving. It's like, it's stress.
In Wilmington, it's high stress.
It's really stressful here driving. I don't know what it is about this town. Everywhere I've lived, this town stresses me more than any other town.
Because the driving is the worst I've ever seen. And look, you and I are from Maryland, where it's some of the most aggressive driving anywhere.
Nothing like that.
It's not aggressive driving here. I can handle assholes. It's dumbasses. Sorry, not to...
No, it stresses me out driving here in town, and a lot of stoplights, a lot of intersections, a lot of things happening. And you got stores and signs and blah 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 blah. Noise. So it's easy to fall into that, and we're humans, human beings. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's
for
really
sure.
Okay.
So is there anything else in particular that you think is important for us to know about Chinese medicine, acupuncture, in this vein of conversation?
Ooh, anything to know. I think what I would say is, if there's someone out there that's hesitant or curious, that having a good conversation with an acupuncturist that will sit and take the time and to answer the questions that they have about the many levels of acupuncture. I feel like we didn't really get into a whole lot of the different levels of acupuncture, but to just be open to it and to they want to have a conversation, and they have to find the right practitioner.
Right.
I'm not the right person for everybody. There's a lot of great acupuncturists in town, and you have to find your way to the right people. And when and I call it the healing triangle. So you have the practitioner of your choice, who you really resonate with, the patient or the client or the beautiful spiritual being on your table, and then that third piece is the higher power piece. And when those three are all lined up, then magic can really happen. So I think it's I kind of lost sight of your original question.
Well,
something
me
if
too.
I wanted to add, I don't know. I would just say yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, and this might be a big question, but maybe we can answer it in short or long, because we can record for as long as we want. So you mentioned the levels of acupuncture. So what does that even mean?
So there's all kinds of theories in acupuncture, okay? And depending on what's going on, a lot of different theories you can use. So a lot of times people say, well, I tried it and it didn't work. Okay, so did they try 5-element style? Did they try traditional acupuncture? Did they try Master Tan style? There's a lot of different many paths, okay? Many paths. And so as a practitioner, one of our challenges, and I know other acupuncturists would agree, is I have to figure out very quickly, too, what is the one that's going to work the best for this particular person on the table. So is it the 5-element, the working with the water and the fire and the earth and the wind and the metal and the wood and the emotions of all of that, or is it? I have another practice that I always throw in the air and the wind and too. So take that out. That's actually part of the liver wood element in Chinese medicine is the wind, which we're coming into liver season.
The what season?
Liver
season.
Spring liver.
Oh,
so this is all about. We've hopefully been in the deep of the winter. We've figured out kind of what we want, and now that seedling, we're going to emerge and we're going to come up in that bright green that comes out from a seedling. That is the color of liver.
Oh, really?
So we're coming into this up. So a lot of energy in the earth coming up right now, and so it's a really great time to be doing things and manifesting things, and if you want to detox your liver, this is the time to do it.
Interesting.
I am not a fan of powders and things to detox, okay?
I've been listening to some really freaky podcast episodes about what's in like powders and supplements.
Oh, I hate it all.
And how like they're not like, and I know
there's no chi in them.
Well, and there's also zero regulation, and they're finding that they're full of just like whatever they can find. And I mean, I know people feel like on the fence sometimes about the FDA, but the FDA can't even regulate these things. And so basically any Joe Schmo can put anything they want in it. So you have no idea what you're taking.
Yeah, it's, I actually, there's your body is built beautifully. And people really need to own this and accept this, because everyone wants to seem to have a problem in their body or something wrong with them or what makes them, and this is, you have to stop this mindset, and you really have to get into like, I am a perfect divine being that functions beautifully. Maybe I'm a little out of balance, but I can get back to balance if I feed myself well. So the very first thing I always start with anybody is the food. You got to eat and give your body right ingredients to work with.
You told me more chicken soup.
Yeah,
I'm making today.
and so if you feed your body well and you get your mind in the right mindset and you're doing your wellness practices, your body will rebalance beautifully by itself. But everyone's still, we have this mindset of looking outside of ourselves for the answers.
The intuition versus the intellect.
Yeah, we want that pill. We want, and they come in and they see all these herbs, and I I'm probably the worst person because I do not prescribe herbs unless you need them, and they work great. But the chi, the life force is in your food, and you really also have to look. Are my relationships harmonious? Is my workspace a good one for me? Am I living my highest purpose? Am I higher? These are the things that keep us healthy, not bottles and pills and supplements. And I have people come in and they bring me so many, and I, love and light to on. I just have to work with where they are, but these are not the answers. They're not. And I'm not a big fan of that at all. And it's kind of gets me fired up.
I can see it in your face. You guys should see her. She's kind of swinging around a little bit.
I am. I'm like, oh my God, pills. But it's that same. And I see this a lot in alternative healthcare and complementary healthcare, is that they're doing the same thing Western medicine does, but under the guise of natural. And just because it doesn't work. You have to do the work, and you have to do it daily.
There is no magic pill.
No magic pill.
No
ancient Chinese secret.
The magic pill. No ancient Chinese secret.
There is none. You all know the ancient Chinese secret. Yeah. You all know it. So.
The magic pill is often sitting with a lot of discomfort, getting it right, figuring out how to detox your life.
I love it.
Yep.
I'm stealing that too. That's the magic pill. You're absolutely right. That's it. Then you get that message like, this is not working for me. Boom. That's your go time. Yeah. Absolutely.
So if we wanted to detox our livers, what do we need to eat?
Lemons.
Oh, I just had this interesting, for whatever reason the other day, I was like, I want a lemon ginger tonic really bad.
Beautiful.
Out of the blue.
Lemons are one of the best things you can do, and green apples.
Really?
Yeah. So green is the sour, and that's the green apple is the sour. That's the taste of the liver. Those are my two easy favorites to do. Easy.
What I like too about a lot of the food recommendations you've given to me have been really easy.
Oh, super easy. Yeah. And it's about being conscious, very conscious of, is this fueling me in a good direction? And it's the food is the medicine. We all know that. We all know it. I'm not saying anything anybody doesn't already know.
That's right.
And it's cueing things. Okay, well, where is the imbalance? And then let's just nourish that with some better food choices. So I do send a lot of people on the first visit or two with the food. You got to get the food right. You can't just come in and get acupuncture and then expect to get better. You have to do the work on the daily basis. So we got way away from.
That's okay. That's what we do here on the show.
One of those different levels of acupuncture, and so it's just it's going back to what works for each person, and that's the beauty in this medicine. It is not one, a dry cough for you or wet cough.
All of them. It just depends on what time of day you're asking me.
Whatever cough you have. You could have a whole set of reasons and issues that another person with the same exact... Now, in Western medicine, they'll give you the same pill, but in Chinese medicine, we would do it differently because of where you are and who you are and all your life experience and everything you bring to the table to me. So it's a beautiful exchange of energy that way.
Yeah.
So, there's it just goes on and on and on.
How old is this? Is it yoga's 5,000 years old?
Oh, yoga's got us beat.
Oh, is it? Well, they say
about 3,000.
Well, they say between 3,000 and 5,000, which is like a pretty big different range there. So who knows? But so my guess is it's probably all emerging around the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that was what happened is we all kind of came to consciousness together. So we'll say 3,000 ish.
We weren't there. We don't know. Or we were, maybe. According to my evolutionary astrology, I probably
we were
was.
all there. And so we're all reawakening to it. And it's becoming more and more beautiful.
I just had this conversation last night on the phone. I was talking, Aaron, my boyfriend, and I were talking to his parents who were really open to these spiritual practices. And we were talking about how we're in a time, a reawakening of consciousness.
Huge.
That there were these periods like around, we were talking about the 5,000 year mark. And like there was the Great Flood and all these things happen. And like no matter where you look in spiritual study, about 3,000, 5,000 years ago, some big thing happened.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And they're happening again.
Yeah, and
Big
then they got kind of dormant for a little bit, and there has been sort of this new awakening.
Absolutely. Oh, I think being alive now is very exciting.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of opportunity. And this is, again, I'm going to go all the way back to the Blue Medicine Buddha, because we need a lot of healing right now on ourselves, on our planet, all of it. And so we have such good work we can do in our short little time that we're here while we're visiting, and making it better and making it good, and projecting the long term of it all. And so the more we work on ourselves, that's the way to do it. That's the only way I know how to do it, is keep myself tuned.
Well, you're not going to fix anyone else. You're not going to change anyone else. So the only change you can make in the world is yourself, which will inspire other change.
Absolutely.
Is that my phone?
I think it might
Naughty podcast host forgot to turn her phone off.
I turned mine, yeah.
It's my dad.
Let's channel him in.
God, sorry, Dad. No. He's a physician, so he might be I don't know, he wouldn't be not open to this conversation. He would be like, I don't know what you are talking about right now.
And I'm going to give props for that, because I trust that so much more than someone that goes to the doctor and said, well, my doctor doesn't know anything about it but said not to do it. Because it's like, what?
Yeah.
I much prefer someone that says, I don't know.
Yes.
Try it, see what happens. But that does happen a lot. You would be surprised. It's like, okay. I just, I keep my mouth shut a lot.
It happened to me. I hurt my back years ago. I had 2 slip discs at this, one to the right, one to the left. It was nasty.
Gnarly.
I was out of commission for a long time. But long story short, of course, the orthopedic surgeon was like, well, we're probably going to have to operate. I was like 31, 32. I was like, nah, I'm not having surgery.
Is that how you got into yoga?
I was doing yoga before that, but I got into yoga I practice yoga differently. Okay. Yoga became a healing practice for me after that. Yeah. But what he told me, he was like, you're going to have to stop doing yoga. Twisting yourself into those weird positions is not going to help. Wrong answer, bro. Wrong answer. Because it was I'm always cautious of saying yoga healed my back. Because what I don't want is people to be like, oh, I have a back injury, yoga's going to fix it. Right. I have no idea what it's going to do for you.
Right, different people.
Right, but for me, yoga taught me a lot about my body and how to live in my body day to day to keep my back safe.
Beautiful.
So he was wrong 100%.
And think about the power that he has as a doctor.
Yeah.
And those messages. And this is one of the things we're fighting constantly on a daily basis. When someone comes to the table here, they have lifetime of those messages from teachers, from family, from siblings, from friends, of just these not nice downloads, and we're trying to be these beautiful beings of love and light, and we've got this stuff around our light because people have, I would call that an energy attack. The guy kind of he planted a message into you, an incorrect message. Yes. And good on you for not buying into it, but people do.
Right, and at that point, I had enough experience with yoga to know that wasn't true.
Beautiful.
Had he said that to me 3 years before, when I wasn't a regular practicing,
of yoga.
Yes, I would have been like, ooh, I'm not doing that again.
I know.
So props to my dad. He's always been really supportive of. And when I told him acupuncture helped for my cough, he's like, interesting, but if it works, keep doing it.
Exactly. And I love. I want to tell you a funny story. Okay.
I want to hear your funny story.
This is why I'm open to, try it. I'm not the answer for everybody. Let's see what we can do. So this was a while ago. I was a massage therapist, and I worked with a gal that had MS. And if you know anything about MS, it's you get progressively worse. Okay, you kind of plateau and then drop, plateau and drop. It's not a very. We can get into that another time, because I think there's a lot of other things about that healing. But this woman, I'd worked on her a few times, and she came in a wheelchair, get her on the table, give her a massage, and get her back in her wheelchair, and she would leave. And one day, I kid you not, she came walking in. I about fell over. Now, it wasn't, an easy moving gait. It was rough, and she had some crutches or helps. Sure. But I about fell over. I said, what have you been doing? If you remember back, maybe the early 2000s, there was the, it might still be out there, the belt you could put around your waist to vibrate your waist to lose weight.
I remember. I had one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did it work?
No.
Well, let me tell you what this belt did for this woman. So she was sitting in the wheelchair, and of course you lose your ab strength, your core strength sitting like that.
Yeah.
So she had bought this belt thing that vibrated to help her tone her stomach. Whatever that did shifted something in her that she was able to walk.
So you just never know.
You never know. So I remember that story. Now, this was a long time ago. I have no idea where she is now, and I don't know her healing journey and how it went. But I have never seen anyone go from wheelchair back to walking like that by using one of those.
You just never know. And that's something, too.
You don't.
Because there's a lot of critics out there. And I know there's a lot of weird stuff in the wellness world.
Yeah.
I've been, following all this Gwyneth Paltrow stuff right now because her vagina candle came out. Have you heard of that? She's put out a candle through her company Goop. It's called Smells Like My Vagina, which I think it actually smells like roses or something. So it's I think it's supposed to be a funny thing. It sold out immediately, You can make money doing anything. Actually, I was telling Aaron yesterday, I said we should turn Dharma Drops into the next Goop, but without the Goop. And he was like, we should call it Droop.
Oh my God, I love it. I love
Instead
it.
of Drops, Droop. But anyway, she talks about all this stuff like yoni steaming and all the jade eggs. And I know some of that stuff is seems a little out there. But my philosophy is no harm, no foul.
Right.
Now, Goop, I think, has made some dangerous claims about some of this stuff. But if it's not going to hurt you, it's worth a shot. And at minimum, these things empower you over your own health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even at bare minimum, you feel like you're taking charge of your health.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure. Anything that empowers people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know anything about that. Her website or Goop.
They've received tons of criticism, justified criticism, I will say, because they've made some dangerous claims, I think, about holistic practices that were saying these things can prevent, bacterial infections, which it probably isn't true. But long story short, my theory is if it's not going to hurt you, just try it.
Well, and I would elaborate on that and say absolutely try it and trust yourself to know what is right for you.
Yeah.
Because what's right for you might not be right for someone else. And only you know. And so that's why, yes, you have to... I always, when I hear things or learn new things as I'm going along my own journey, I just got kind of duped the other day by, I don't want to say who, but I was watching this series and I was totally into this really awesome stuff. And then I went to one of the meditations and I was like... I realized it was a salesman selling books and CDs, and then you could take these seminars. They're like $1,400, $1,500. And I'm going to tell you right now, anything in the healing world in direct access to spirit should be free or minimal cost. Mm-hmm. Once it starts costing you a lot of money out of pocket, you really need to have some questions on that because what's their real motivation behind this? Yeah. And so it still happens. And so I caught myself and I thought, oh, wow. And I do think this particular person had some very valid insight and some very things I could get from it, for sure. But then you just have to watch that little sneaky piece on it, and you don't need to spend that kind of money to access spirit and to heal. And you have to just trust that inner. We're all really very wise. We've never been given permission to be okay with that wisdom. Yeah, and that is what one of my underlying goals as my time here on earth is to help people. And I have to continue to do it to myself. Right. It starts with the self. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. And remind myself and tell myself. So yeah. I was just thinking too, these healers sometimes I want to say people are always like, why does yoga cost so much? It should be free because yoga teachers have to eat and pay bills. Yeah. You know what I mean? So things just can't be free in life. No. But I definitely... If you're listening, be skeptical of the person who is charging you thousands of dollars for a meditation. Yeah, absolutely. That's a flag for sure. Mm-hmm. And there has to be some sort of exchange. I do agree. I mean, even my own practice, acupuncture is not exactly cheap. Right. Yoga's not cheap. Yeah, yoga's not cheap. But you got to pay for this building. Right. You got to pay to eat, to pay for your car. Right. And the education of it all and the malpractice and everything that comes along with it. But if you have the willingness, and I think as a beautiful soul, you would do the same thing. You're able to work with anybody's budget if they have the willingness to do the work too.
I've been seeing some interesting stuff. I went to this holiday conscious bazaar at Thousand Petals Yoga in Chapel Hill around the holiday season. They were like local people who make things and sell them. And a ton of people were selling their goods on a sliding scale.
Yeah.
And they were like, I'll take whatever between $10 and $25, whatever works for your budget, which I know not every business can operate like that. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because I really do trust people. I do.
Yeah.
I think deep down we're all very good and we all everywhere there's a few little bad seeds, but most of us, and I'm going to put 96% are very good.
I agree.
Deep down. We're not perfect, but we're good. And so I do like that too. And have there needs to be an exchange. There needs to be some sort of exchange. And so this is one of the things I'm really working on is money, because I have this brainwash thing of money's bad and dishonest, and I'm trying to figure out where that comes from.
Have you read You Are a Badass by You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero?
No, but I like it.
The Dharma Drops audience probably so sick of hearing me talk about this book. I have blogged about it. I have talked about it. I did a whole episode about it. But her first chapter is about that.
Yeah.
About where these ideas of money come from and how we can get past that on the spiritual level. But she talks about the energy exchange in her book. Yeah. And one thing that I had made the mistake of doing a lot when I first started my business was like, I'll give you a friend discount.
Yes.
And she said, you have to stop that, because what happens, it's not that of course we want to give our friends a discount, but then let's say it's for acupuncture. You might not feel as passionate about your session together. That person might not expect as much out of you in that session. But if it's a fair exchange, then the work is equal.
Right. Oh, I like that. Yeah, yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
Me too.
I'm guilty of the herbs. I'm working on that. I'm a work in progress on that, because I know what it costs, and I know how much they need to take to be effective, and it can add up. It can add up very quickly. So yes, I'm a little softy there, but I'm working on it.
Healers are givers too.
Yeah. So it's that's actually my 2020 leap year goal.
You gotta read You Are a Badass at Making Money. I listened to the audiobook.
Yeah.
And Jen Sincero, the author, reads it, so it's a little more fun because she's very funny.
Because she knows how she wrote it.
Yes. Yeah. So she's funny, and she's not. It's not like a boring book. She's a little potty mouth. It's a good one.
We like potty mouth.
We love potty mouth. When I asked Pam to be on the podcast, she's like, "What if I say fuck?" I was like, "Then I'll say it too."
I think I've gotten away with that. I'm changing my office. This is actually really funny, and I have such a great relationship with the other two practitioners I work here with, and I'm going to I'll call it a more professional office, and I said, I'm not going to be able to drop F-bombs.
It's really weird you say that, because before you even got here, when I was sitting in the lobby waiting for you, I was like, I just feel like she's going to move soon.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's the second time in 2 days I had a premonition of something that someone was going to tell me.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So that's happening next Friday.
Oh, shoot. Like now?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm in the process of
cool.
change.
Oh my gosh. But right now you're less than a quarter mile from my house. What am I going to do?
Well, I'm literally 2 blocks away going. So
you're probably going to be closer. You actually might be closer. Are you going to the building right down here?
No, I'm going to be on Oleander, which if you're from Wilmington, there's some major roads that have a very interesting energy. Oleander's one of them. I was trying not to be on Oleander.
Interesting's a good word.
I know. I'm trying to be so nice.
Terrifying?
Yeah. So I am going to be, but it's kind of tucked away in a little zen-y place.
Oh, nice.
But I love Wrightsville Avenue, and I love the vibe on Wrightsville Avenue. And eventually I'll work my way back to Wrightsville Avenue. But for now, I'm going to be on Oleander.
Awesome.
And a little more professional. So the F-bombs will not be flying, because I think the two folks there might. I know. Once the doors close, we can let them rip. I know. We can say fuck. I know.
It's so funny. So, I think this is one of my favorite recordings.
Aww.
It's every time I come see you, I just feel excited about living a better life.
Yeah, thank you.
If that's your soul's mission, you're doing it.
Oh, you're so great. Yeah,
thank you.
I've totally enjoyed this.
Me too.
had no idea what to expect.
Just hanging out.
This microphone is obnoxious and just right here, and it's like, wow, what is this? And I got these beautiful pink headphones on, and Yeah, I hear you in the echoey thing in my ear.
And the echoey thing. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to sit around and talk.
It is.
So, any last words of wisdom? Any information that we need to find you if people want to get a hold of you?
Okay, yeah. So I don't know how I got this, but WilmingtonAcupuncture.com. Very easy website to remember.
Awesome.
And I don't have the new address, and that's a way to get a hold of me. And stay tuned because I really have some big things coming in the very near future.
Awesome.
And I've really been very inspired by Blue Buddha, and I'll leave it at
I'm
that.
going to learn more about Blue Buddha.
Them have been very around me a lot lately, and it's great, and I want everyone to know I have no secrets. I share everything. And I think you remember this. As I'm working, I tell you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I tell you.
That's what I like about coming to you.
I also give people. I give people mantras and chants to do if they want them. If they want them, I do that. I will explain. I do a lot of part of my background is with a type of energy work that's called polarity therapy, and I use sacred geometry a lot on people and using different elements and fingers and things. And I'm an open book, an absolute open book. I have nothing to not share.
That's good.
So, because we don't know what's going to hit. And here's the beauty. I have learned so much from the people I treat, and I'm so eternally grateful for that because it moves me to tears how grateful I am for all these beautiful people that have so much wisdom inside of them and share it with me. Yeah. So I've learned so much. So.
It's really awesome.
Yeah.
And so there are listeners now the last time I checked in 167 countries across the globe, which is crazy. So even if you're not in Wilmington, good on ya, because the driving's crazy here. But
we have a great beach, though.
We do have Wrightsville Beach is very beautiful.
And the full moon rise on the beach is amazing.
It is very beautiful.
Yeah.
But even if you're not in Wilmington, you can check out Pam's site and get inspired and find an acupuncturist where you live and study Chinese medicine.
I need to work on my website. It's a little, I don't know why the word square is coming to mind. It's not full of flowers and spiritual stuff.
I just rebranded mine. It looks like a unicorn.
Oh, I love it. Colors, and I see it.
Which is so weird because I'm wearing gray boots, gray pants, and a black shirt with a gray sweater. That's my whole wardrobe. But somehow my website turned to this rainbow.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I need to update that a little bit.
It's my insides. Yeah. I'm a rainbow on the inside.
Oh, you're a rainbow everywhere. I see it in those eyes. Are you kidding me?
This has been so much fun. Guys, if you want to keep up with Dharma Drops, you can head over to dharmadropspodcast.com or head over to Instagram at Dharma Drops Podcast. Pam, thanks so much.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Me too.
I was really nervous. This is great.
Everyone always says they're nervous. Nothing to be nervous about. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Dharma Drops. And just to help make your day a little bit brighter, little Hanky wants to do a trick for you. Hanky, speak. Yeah, good boy. One more time. Hanky, speak. Yeah, good boy. Don't forget, if you want to follow all the Dharma Drops shenanigans, you can find me at dharmadropspodcast.com and on Instagram at Dharma Drops Podcast. Additionally, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Dharma Drops Podcast on whatever app you're listening on. It's a great way to show your support and to share the podcast with others. Okay, my friends, that's it for this episode. Hank wants to say bye to you guys. Hanky, speak. Yeah, good boy. All right. Bye, guys.